You're listening to a special episode of Around the Galaxy, featuring audio from our weekly live show, ATG Live. We go live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@the-SSW Network. Join the conversation, be part of the chat, and may the Force be with you. Roger, Roger.
Lightsabers hum, they light up the night. Pete and Nick keep the galaxy bright. From Tatooine sands to indoor trees, they're bringing the news with galactic ease. ATG Live, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door. From Vader's breath to Grogu's charms, theories and chats, they keep us disarmed. Around the galaxy tonight, Chris and Kelsey keeping it tight. They're breaking news like a Death Star blast, taking your calls and reading your chats. The greatest guests and what you need to know. Pete and Nick lead the Star Wars show. ATG Live, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door.
Well, welcome to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for everything Star Wars news, Star Wars interviews, Star Wars conversations, Star Wars made up stuff, whatever. I'm one of your hosts, Pete Fletcher. I'm here with my co-host and good friend, Nick Milky. Nick, how is it going?
We have to expand what the Star Wars offerings we're giving. I mean, we're already doing game shows. We're doing stupid merchandise. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's hairstyles. I don't know if it's, career advice. We're going to have to venture into, if we're going to go with Star Wars career advice, I'm going to go ahead and tell you up front. Don't become a stormtrooper. It's not going to be good. I'm your life coach now. Congratulations.
Right, the guidance counselor who tells you to become a stormtrooper doesn't care about you and does not see a bright future for you.
They're just collecting a paycheck.
That's all they're doing. Yes. Well, we have been doing this now for quite some time, and this is another wonderfully fun Thursday night. Nick, interestingly, even with a new Star Wars movie about a year away, hello, Andrew. I think Andrew just became a patron, by the way. Andrew, thank you so much. You are our latest patron, and we appreciate you so much for doing that. Thank you for joining us. When you're saying good morning, where's he calling? Where's he watching? It's amazing. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so with so much, the end of Andor, a long time until the next wave of Star Wars comes out. This week, every time I went on Twitter and social media, every time you went online, Nick, it was another news story. So tonight's show, when we kick into full gear, is going to be just our whole Around the Galaxy in the style of Around the Horn show the whole night, because there's so much to do, so many points to compete for. And of course, we have a very special guest who should be joining us shortly, Mr. John Rocha. So he'll be here very soon. But Nick, it's not Around the Galaxy and ATG Live without our two back-end geniuses, the people who keep us in line, the people who know more about Star Wars than we actually do. Let's start with Mr. Chris Ryans. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
I'm coming in blind. All right, cool.
No, you're good.
How are you?
Doing all right. Sorry, everything was last minute, me getting here and whatnot. But
we're just happy you're here. We're just happy to see you.
Happy I'm here. Ready to talk some Star Wars whenever you gents are ready.
Oh, yes. And, of course, we have our producer at large, Kelsey Puckett. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I've missed you guys.
Yeah,
I feel...
Good. I mean, not the same without you. You know for a fact that last week's show was a nightmare because you guys weren't here.
That's right. You were both gone, and you left.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about literally the actual nightmares you were having this week. It's my bad.
It's true. I literally had nightmares about the show this week that I shared with.
It's supposed to be fun, you guys. Come on.
Yeah. So, Kaylee is in the house. Hi, Kaylee. How are you? So yeah, we have a lot of fun coming up, and a lot of we want to hear from you.
What happened last week? Did I miss something?
I probably slandered comic books. If we're sticking to the usual script.
That's
No, last week it was just Nick and I had to produce again, and it was. If you want to talk about miscues, if you want to talk about wrong layouts, if you want to talk wrong commercials, it was just a nightmare. It was not well done, but it was an interesting and fun show because we had some normies on it. We got a different perspective on Star Wars and reminded ourselves that we should probably get out a little bit more often.
And really, we probably didn't spend enough time focused on the fact that of the 4 people that were on this show last week, 3 of them live in Alabama, ganging up on the New Jersey guy.
Ooh.
And somehow you still survive. So,
I mean,
you got attacked by the South and survived. So I feel like you're good.
I did. I absolutely.
Here's what Matt's talking about. I said last Jedi was better than Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, what about that?
That is certainly what we would
just good.
Mm.
Also, Pete, I just wanted to let you know, the incompetence, it's kind of cute. We like it.
kind of makes for I don't know what it makes for, but
it's the aw-shucksness that you bring to the show, Pete.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Oh shucks. Well, yeah, so we but hopefully this week will be a little bit better. We have a ton of Star Wars stuff to talk about. But before we do that, we had mentioned we haven't talked a lot about this too much this year. We have had we have our now annual baseball bet with Nick has selected the Braves once again, who they're winning.
Mistake.
They're going to beat the Phils in the nightcap, but it's still. We took 2 out of 3 from them. Kelsey took the Tigers, which it's final. Oh, it's end of 7.
Let's go.
It's end of 7.
She took the Tigers, which I just sort of chuckled at when she said, and who would have thought they're at multiple times this season the number 1 team in the league. And I took the Phils. So if we were to cut now, and I'm going to give the Braves the win tonight. So based on that. I trail the Tigers. The Phillies trail the Tigers by half a game, and the Braves trail by 10 games, which means that if this were to end today, I would owe $1 into the pot of the gift for Kelsey, and Nick, you would own up to $20 at this moment. So
that's true.
What we should do is we should have to buy it from Bro Axiom. That way we keep all 4 of us.
Well, even better. Now we're talking.
That doesn't even seem like a punishment, though. I'm like, I get cool merch.
Not to me.
Okay. So, but we love to keep doing that and keep that going. So, but we also have to start with our toast before we get to Mr. Rocha and our Around the Galaxy feature for the evening. So, Nick, why don't you give us the toast, and what are we toasting to this evening for Millennium Falcon?
It is the last toast for the month of May in our Millennium Falcon, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not sure what we're toasting to tonight. So. Okay. We have our beer poured up.
Yeah, we toasted Kelsey. She's back.
That's right. We're gonna toast. Actually, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna toast to Chris and Kelsey because based on our experiences last week, we can't do this really well without the 2 of you.
Yes.
So here's to the producers in all of our lives who help us get shit done, who help us look good. And I'm going to say, Pete, you got the video ready?
I got it.
Cheers and happy Millennium Falcon.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
That was the last Millennium Falcon of 2025.
Also, like, I feel like we need to make these shorter because Nick is too good at chugging. Like,
yeah, he is.
That's insane.
I think he's getting better as the year goes on, and I think
I don't know if we should be excited for me about that either.
Well, like, I really thought I was good at chugging beers until I met you, and I was like, nope, this is embarrassing.
This is not what I thought. Skill that I thought I had. Yeah,
well, we're gonna slow it down now with some magic from across the pond.
How can I'm a beer fan, but I cannot. I just can't spend an evening drinking a Guinness. It's a little too much. So for me anyway.
I'll take the bullet for you, my friend.
I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mr. John Rocha, the Outlaw, the Hot Mic, the Outlaw Nation, and then we're going to hop into what seems to be an overabundance of Star Wars news for the week. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more ATG Live. Hey, guys, we have a great show. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up, and I am excited. I'm not even going to go through a bumper or anything. I'm just going to pull him in because I was just watching him live, so I know he's ready to go. Here's Mr. John Rocha. John, how are you?
Hello, everyone. How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for having me. And
good to see you.
Nick, my man, after my own heart, brother, man. Please, I don't know what Pete's talking about. You and I can knock back a whole 6-pack of Guinnesses one night.
That's right. Anytime.
Stouts are king, y'all. Stouts are king.
That's right. Slancha.
So John, before we get into all the Star Wars news and stuff, for the 0.07% of the people who watch us who may not know who you are, just let's get your plugs. Let's tell everybody where they can follow you, because after they watch you tonight, they're going to want to keep up with you for sure.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely. I run an outlet called the Outlaw Nation on YouTube, and I host a number of shows on there. Well, the biggest one, of course, is the Hot Mic with me and Jeff Snyder, dropping scoops and getting into a bunch of battles, debates, and conversations about everything going on in the world of entertainment. The Geek Buddies, which is a great podcast I host as well, or show I host on the channel as well. Spill the Tequila, The Jedi Way, which is the host show I have with Kevin Spence and Laura Keller, where we talk all things Star Wars. And of course, some people know me from years ago, being in the Shimodown, being the Outlaw. It seems like dust on that memory. It's been so long now, but that's what I do in my life. And I also do voiceovers, and I co-host the Cine-Files, which is a podcast I do on film. So I'm constantly working, constantly busy, but when Pete calls, I answer. So thank you, Pete, and Nick, for having me on, man. Well, and I love the beard, Pete. The beard is new, Pete. Look at that.
I'm working it. I'm trying to work it. I got to do. It's white. The rest of it's all. I just got to. I got to just do something with it. It's
getting that Captain Rex cosplay ready to go.
That's right. It's either that or Balin's skull. I'm going to do one of the two. I gotta pull that one off. So before we get into, you're familiar with Around the Horn, I know, because you're a big sports guy.
R.I.P. Around the Horn.
Yes. And our friend Clinton Yates, in honor of him, we put the show together this way. And we did it with him a couple weeks ago, and we've been doing it ever since. We've been having some fun with it. But before we get to that, I got to get your opinion on Andor. High level opinion. It's where did you come down on Andor season 2?
I've seen the season twice now. I will probably work my way through it a third time in the next couple of weeks. I have to say it is the greatest piece of Star Wars entertainment that I personally have ever watched, witnessed, or experienced. And it's no denigration to Empire or A New Hope or people loving Revenge of the Sith. But for me personally, it is the most amazing piece of Star Wars content I've ever seen. And I said this back in 2015 when I stumbled ass backwards into this career, when I was co-hosting Far, Far Away with the great Tiffany Smith, that I wanted a Star Wars that would be ground-based and gritty and have a commentary on what's going on in our world and still retain the fantastical elements. And this season absolutely did it. And so, it's one of the most amazing. I can't believe it got made. Can't believe it got made. It's so incredible.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we absolutely, here on the show, we loved it as well. And we were, you're right. It's wild to have such a current social commentary at the same time as being wildly entertaining and not hitting you over the head with it. I think there was, I think it was it became prescient for people. We saw it differently because of the world we're in, but it wasn't, it wasn't labeling people. It wasn't labeling the situation. It just happened, and you were like, this is important now. So, so that was, that
the resident nature of it is amazing. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss when you see stuff happening in the world and then you see it mirrored. The fact that this shot was shot 2 years ago, you're almost like, how the hell did they know?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where the good Star Wars is rooted. It's rooted in both history and current events, and unfortunately, history. We're seeing it happen again, right? It's a real shame, but let's get out of the darkness. Let's have some fun. And I'm going to bring in our friends for Around the Galaxy. Here we go. See, the thing is, I never know where people's faces are going to show up when I do this. So I'm going to move Kelsey over there. I'm going to move us over here. And I'm going to do that there. And Kelsey, this is John. John, this is Kelsey. Kelsey, Chris.
Hi,
John,
nice
Chris, Kelsey. We're all friends
kind of
here.
Sad, like, where's your cowboy hat?
Oh man, it's up there in the closet.
No, it should have been on tonight. Like, I mean, we're going around the galaxy. Like, you should have been tipping that off.
I should have got my chalkboard to be the Woody of this segment.
You should have. Like, I mean, like just horribly unprepared for this. I'm just saying. Like,
she's gonna take points away from you before.
Yeah, I mean, like I dole out the points, so I'm like you're like starting behind.
Oh no! Story of my life. The story of my life.
All right. Pete, well, you want me to get this?
Yeah,
going?
let's dig into this. Let's have some fun.
All right. So, like, I mean, you guys already kind of kicked off Andor. So after the final season of Andor, is this the end of Star Wars Prestige TV? I'll go with you, John, first.
That's a great question. I think as long as the current regime is in charge, and yes, this happened under the current regime, but in a way it's almost like an Elseworlds type of thing. I think until the current regime is changed over, we won't see anything like this again. Anything remotely close to prestige television like this. Again, I don't think this is Filoni's instincts, and I don't think this is necessarily Kathleen Kennedy's instincts. So I would be very surprised. So I don't think we're going to see it until new management comes in to run the franchise.
What about you, Chris?
I agree a little bit, but it doesn't. Not everything has to be like Andor going forward, you know. But because we need the mystical and the fantastical stuff too. But I think they're gonna learn from this one, and we're going to see something like this again. Just hopefully, not every project going forward is going to be in this way. Because I'm going to be depressed watching Star Wars all the time if that's how it's going to be, and I'm going to watch it.
Well, but I will be depressed. There was a baby at the end, Chris.
There was a baby, and I did smile. But we went through a lot before that smile happened.
What about you, Pete?
I have to agree with John in that I feel like this was sort of a once in a whatever rotation. I don't know. It's not going to be a common way of doing things, and I think one of the biggest challenges is watching people put down other Star Wars as a result, right? I mean, Ahsoka had its own feel, Kenobi had its own feel. All the different shows have their own look and feel, and the reality is, it's not all going to be like this. However, there was something that was so rich and so tactile, and it just felt so real. It was something that I think we all loved, and I would love to see more of it. And I wonder if an Ahsoka type of story, a Jedi type of story, would work in this vein. And I think the next time we're going to see something this gritty is going to probably be the Dawn of the Jedi movie. I just feel like that's going to be in this sort of dark time kind of really kind of not as shiny and poppy as Star Wars can be. I think it's going to be more in this vein, but I'm all for it. So bring me more. But again, recognizing if you love Andor, it doesn't mean that you can't love Ahsoka and Grogu. So I think it's a fair point.
Fair enough. Nick, bring us home on this one.
So while I do agree with what John said as far as Filoni and Kennedy, and this may not necessarily, this could have been a little bit of lightning in the bottle. I am going to say the other half of that equation is there are some bean counters. There are some people on the business side of this who have looked at the success of this, and we've seen it marketed differently than the Acolyte was. The Acolyte had the potential to be somewhere in this neighborhood. There were some editing issues. There are some other things. I think they're willing to take another crack at it. I don't think it's going to be Tony Gilroy because I think this was his thing. But there's a Rian Johnson that's floating around out there with some connections, and he's done stuff like Poker Face. I think that they could say, hey, maybe you don't do a trilogy of movie. Maybe there's another prestige Star Wars, something that Rian Johnson does that falls into a Knives Out or a Poker Face or another realm similar to that. So I'm going to say the analysts at Disney are going to take a look at this and go, we got some good stuff out of this. There's got to be another way to squeeze this tomato again.
Okay, so I'm going to go in another direction. So despite being polarizing in the galaxy far, far away, Rian Johnson wants to return to Star Wars. Nick, do you think he should?
Of course I do. I mean, my entire platform last week was that The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie that exists. The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie, but The Last Jedi to me is the best Star Wars movie.
Cannot wait Ryan to Johnson. Deduct points right here.
That's right.
He's gotten too hot takes.
Do what you have to. I think Rian Johnson is a fantastic storyteller. I think the way he does what he does, and you see so much of it in the documentary that they did that goes along with Last Jedi. I've rewatched that thing so many times. He 100% should be making Star Wars. He loves Star Wars. He wants to make Star Wars. And give me all the Rian Johnson Star Wars we can get. I'll earn those points.
All right, Pete.
Well, geez, if it'll make the boss happy, I hate Rian Johnson. He's ruined Star Wars. And no, I honestly do think, I've said it before, along with Nick, it's my favorite Star Wars story, not my favorite Star Wars movie. I think he's a great storyteller. And I like what Nick was saying. Maybe give him a television, but he's I think he earned his way back to Star Wars. But I think the biggest challenge is how the fans will react, how the fan base will respond, and whether we like it or not, we have to take that into account because of the amount of noise, the negativity that might come with the announcement of a Rian Johnson movie. So I'd love to see him come back. I think he deserves it. It's just a matter of when the right time might be.
All right. What about you, Chris?
When it comes to Rian Johnson, I look at it like me trying to drive to a place I don't want to go. Give him all the green lights for whatever he wants to do and let him do it. Last Jedi to me was brilliant, and I'd love to see more of his style in any kind of genre he wants to do within the Star Wars galaxy. Give it to him. Yes. I'd love to see what he can do.
Yes. Nice.
All right, fair enough. John, take us home on this topic.
This is where I go full Woody. He should not go anywhere near Star Wars. He was the wrong director for Star Wars. The first hour, mom jokes? Are you kidding me? What is that? Star Wars? Bombs don't make noise in space. What are you doing? Neil deGrasse Tyson had to call you out after he wore a terrible tie on television. This is nonsense to me. He shouldn't go anywhere near it. Unless he's going to be a cinematographer, then great. Because you're right, The Last Jedi is a beautiful looking movie, but I don't need Mary Poppins Leia in my Star Wars, for God's sakes, out of nowhere. Force Leia? What are you talking about? I know that's empowering for some people. It was ridiculous for the rest of us. No good. Poe Dameron's going, what do? I forgot how to fly a ship. Let me be the erratic idiot who has to be led to. But that being said, I do think there are possibilities for Rian Johnson, but I just don't think I think he realized he doesn't work well in the Star Wars system, even though they signed him to a trilogy. But it would just be the worst thing to bring him back because, as I think Chris pointed out, or Pete pointed out, he's just connected to divisiveness, and it would cause this all over again. And every time we put Star Wars back together again, something comes along to shatter it into a million pieces again lately. And the last thing you want to do is bring Rian Johnson back. So I'm sorry, Broom Boy, your trilogy is over.
All right. We love to hear it though. Like, I don't know, just for me. Like, I don't know. All right. So fans are clamoring for like a Battlefront sequel. Pete, what are your thoughts on getting a follow-up to the first game?
Well, I was really excited about the thoughts of Battlefront 3. Battlefront 2 really got a lot of draw over the last couple of weeks. What was his name? The guy who played Wilman Pack was even online saying, yes, we need Battlefront 3. Here's what I say. If so many people are playing Battlefront 2, why do you need Battlefront 3? So go play it. It's still active and online. I'm always going to play whatever new Star Wars video game comes out, but I'm not so attached to a title that it has to be the same one. I'd rather see, maybe a new first-person shooter Star Wars kind of game, but it doesn't have to be Battlefront. But again, I do want to say kudos to the people who are such fans of it that they bound together and they made it the hottest thing on Steam a week ago. So good for them, and I'd be happy to see it, but I don't think we need it. I think play Battlefront 2, go stay in build your communities there, and let's get something new.
What do you think, Chris?
Gimme, and don't stop gimmying the things for Star Wars. I will take them and love. I did a playthrough on Battlefront 2 maybe like a month or two ago, before it was cool. And I enjoyed it so much, and I would love to see a new one because there's so many different characters you can throw in here and different dynamics and things like that. We need a Mando in there. We need to get Din Djarin in there, and Grogu and Ahsoka. That'd be so awesome to have them in there. So there's the character list for Star Wars grows and grows and grows by the year. So it'd be cool to have an updated thing, like make this like the Madden, but a whole lot better, of Star Wars video games. So yeah, gimme. Or don't, and give me something else. It's Star Wars. I'll take it.
I love the excitement. What about you, Nick?
Well, in honor of this being a pseudo sports stolen show, I'm going to go ahead and say my good friend Pete is what my hero Tony Kornheiser calls loud wrong. He's not wrong. He's loud wrong. Pete doesn't know what he's talking about. This is something that we need. I will say that a lot of, I think, the clamor for it has come from the last 3 or 4 weeks of the new Fortnite season, which has been all Star Wars. That has driven so many people to play, to go, oh yeah, there was a game that used to be like this. It was Battlefront 2. And so people kind of remembered and woke back up to, oh yeah, that was that game. And Chris is right. There are so many other characters. There's so many other worlds. Game technology has improved so much.
Yes.
I think there is a prime opportunity for a Battlefront 3 to come in, give us new modes, give us, not have, and learn from the mistakes they made when Battlefront 2 came out, all the microtransactions, all that other stuff that caused a problem. There's the perfect opportunity to bring out a game, because guess what? The Fortnite Star Wars season is going to end in another week and a half, and the nerds like me are just going to keep playing Fortnite with your Star Wars skin. The ability to actually go to Camino and go to Jeddah and go to some of these other places and do the thing that we love to do, which is run around and pretend like we're in Star Wars. So this is something that is fantastic, and I truly hope happens.
I did dig you out of the negatives for that one. That was
Thank you.
yeah. Like I mean, just Pete was so like just far off base. John, like, do you have any thoughts?
Well, listen, I only played the first Battlefront. I did not play the second one. But if you need to have a resurgence day to actually increase its popularity, this starts to slide into Mobius territory, and that makes me concerned. So I will say this. I do want Battlefront 3 because, as you guys have eloquently said, like we've seen already some new characters pop through the last few years. I think you're not going to see it until we get some of these new movies released, and then we can start weaving in these characters. But of course, the ugly side of Star Wars is what might pop up here, that recent video game, people coming after the actress, people coming after the character. That's the thing about Battlefront 3 you have to be worried about. Well, if you do bring an Ahsoka, which Ahsoka? Are you going to bring Ashley Eckstein, or are you going to bring a new voiceover actress to play, or are you going to bring Rosario Dawson in? That's going to cause drama. So you've got to figure out how you're going to navigate all these little minefields, unfortunately. But yes, of course, if people have this much of a demand for it, now is the time to strike when the iron is hot. But don't be surprised if when Battlefront 3 rolls around, it's a Mobius situation or Mobius, whatever it was, and people aren't necessarily 100% on board with it because it's not a rallying cry and it falls flat. So there's a very real possibility on that.
Basically, Ryan Reynolds may have gotten his blank check movie from Disney after like the Deadpool success. Would you give him an R-rated like Star Wars project?
I'll give him R-rated something, all right, but it won't be a Star Wars project. I don't think he has any business being anywhere near Star Wars for an R-rated project. Okay, that's the specificity of your question. So yes, a PG-13, a PG project. Bring in that sarcastic fool and do all his jokes and all of that. Even though I think it has no place in Star Wars, like I said, no your mama jokes, none of that stuff. It doesn't work. The Hux stuff with Snoke was ridiculous. I hate that kind of Star Wars, right? So I think Ryan would make an entire movie that was like that, and Sean Levy's not going to put the barriers on Ryan doing that. So it would just be possibly a mess. So I don't want him anywhere near an R-rated Star Wars situation. I would like to have someone with a bit more seriousness, a bit more of a track record of delivering some good R-rated content that isn't about pieces of the anatomy of human beings. So that's the way that I would look at it. 100%.
Well, like what you're saying though, like I'm kind of like thinking about. Are you just as upset about like the Taika Waititi one? Because I mean he's less serious like about this than Ryan is.
I think Taika's not the right choice either. I think they're trying to take advantage of names that are currently hot. And I don't think I would want to see a Taika. Did we miss Love and Thunder? I mean, what are we talking about here? So I think there would be dangers on so many levels if you bring in people who have a comedic sensibility. Because look what happened with the reports on James Gunn. The new reports are that they took out some of the humor from Superman movie because it was leaning too heavily into the humor, which is the instinct of a lot of directors who come from that school. And that could be dangerous of the franchise because you undercut the seriousness, right? I mean, who came out of Deadpool and Wolverine was like, wow, that's a really great commentary on friendship. No, you came out of it going like, wow, it was great to see these abs and these jokes. And apparently use that to make fun of the guy who was directing your wife in a movie. So these are the dangers when you run into a Ryan Reynolds situation. And I think the 15 minutes are up on his shtick a little bit. So we'll see though.
Okay, Chris, how are you feeling about Ryan Reynolds in a Star Wars project?
Well, what I heard was he was like, I don't have to be attached to it. It could be somebody else and they could do their whole R-rated thing, blah, 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 blah. I'm like this. No, on all of it. I don't want to see it at all. No, fuck your R-rated shit. Get that out of my Star. No. I don't want any R-rated stuff for Star Wars. And I hate. I'm not like you, Pete, Nick. I'm not like this line in the sand kind of person when it comes to Star Wars. But no, I don't want any R-rated Star Wars. That just,
Chris, you don't want Jedi lightsaber dick jokes? You don't want
that? Didn't we already get that in Spaceballs? I mean, come on.
I'll take R-rated Star Wars stuff when it comes to like when I'm watching Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Bong Saber, absolutely. in Star Wars itself, like just R-rated and that's not no.
All right, what about you, Nick?
So, as a rule, I am not against the idea of an R-rated Star Wars if it makes sense. I think the problem is we spend a lot of time going, oh, we wanted Boba Fett to be a Quentin Tarantino movie, or we want it like, if there's going to be an R-rated Star Wars, it's going to be because of like language or, the stakes of like Andor, because it's something that's serious and builds stakes and pressure. It doesn't have to be fart jokes. It doesn't have to be, in-sync dance routines. I don't have any, like this whole Ryan Reynolds Baldoni situation. I don't need to be involved in that. I need to stay out of that. I appreciate Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney because I have become a huge fan of Wrexham, and I love the documentary about Wrexham, and I follow them as a soccer team, and I wasn't a soccer guy before that. It's an incredible story, the things that they've done for this town in Wales. So I'm all about Ryan, keep doing that. If you want to make some other Deadpools, knock yourself out. I do say the one caveat to that is if he wants to be involved with something creatively but doesn't feel like he has to be on camera, I don't necessarily have an issue with that because he is clearly a creative guy. He has some juice. He can do some things, but it doesn't necessarily have to be R-rated Star Wars.
Fair enough. What do you think, Pete?
I can't think of a reason to make a Star Wars that's rated R, right? I know Andor got pretty close on it. They were very effective in bringing us some of the darkest possible things without showing it, by letting you know how harsh and evil the Empire is. And I honestly can't think of because Star Wars is not going to use Earth related curse words and things like that other than shit, which apparently is a commonplace in Andor. But you can say that in a PG-13 movie, so that's fine. But I just can't see anything, even from a violence perspective. And I think if the violence was rated R violence, that would not feel like Star Wars. In fact,
correct.
When we were doing the Road to Rebellion show, one of the comments I made was the Gorman massacre was so well done, but it felt almost too much for Star Wars. So, I'm not a prude. I love a good Tarantino movie. I love a movie that uses its R rating for the right reasons. But I'm hard pressed to find a reason to make an R-rated Star Wars movie. So that's my perspective. Shinobi says, "What? I don't need my Star Wars to grow up with me, but that's just me." That's fair. That is totally fair.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to hit a commercial. When we come back, we have a handful more of these questions. We hope you're having fun with us. We hope you're enjoying hanging out. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, all the stuff you're supposed to do when you are watching a YouTube show. And if you're new to us, thank you for joining us tonight and hit subscribe. And, let's take a real quick break and we'll be back with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. We just ran a Patreon commercial, and I want to welcome our brand new patron. Just before we went on the air tonight, Andrew joined us, so thank you so much. Andrew, we really appreciate you becoming a part of the Patreon family, so we can't thank you enough. Well, Kelsey, we have a tight game going into the second half here today.
We do. And I don't really want Nick to win, and I'm gonna be honest right now. I saw him win last week, and I just felt sick about it. If he's making good points, I guess I have to give him his props. So that's all right. Let's
see. There's still time for me to screw this up yet.
Yeah, it's all right. So we're in the second half of our game. We're in the end game now. All right. Okay, so SAG-AFTRA filed charges on the AI Darth Vader, despite James Earl Jones releasing his likeness. So I'm gonna go, Pete. Do you have any issues with AI continuing to use his legacy?
I did not. I know he gave permission to Lucasfilm I just didn't love it in Kenobi. It felt like I could almost pick it out, the way they were using the process to do it. And frankly, I think SAG-AFTRA has made some really great strides toward it. And John probably knows a lot more about this than I do, but some great strides in defending themselves from AI. The video game industry, you know, we have friends like many of our friends who are in the video game voiceover world. It is so easy to AI them out. It's scary. And so I really hope that the Fortnite lawsuit goes against Fortnite, because I don't want to see AI going in and replacing real people in acting or any sort of creative whatsoever.
Fair enough. What do you think, Chris?
If the Jones estate gave Lucasfilm permission to use his voice likeness, cool. Anyone else? No. So if Fortnite did something like that, like I don't know, that part I didn't even know about. But if that happened, yeah, sue them. No, that they shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, Nick.
That's all I got.
So
short and
this
sweet.
is one of those. This is one of those situations where, yes, the Jones estate gave permission to continue to use this voice because it's such an integral part of this character. That's something that he wanted before he died. The problem is there's an active strike going on in the video game industry, specifically targeted towards Epic Games. And I love Fortnite. I play Fortnite all the time. It's the way I mindlessly relax at the end of the day when my kids go to bed and run around. It's a fun game. It's something that you can just check out and do. But they're doing this in the face of a strike, in the face of things that are actively going on. And the issue is, SAG-AFTRA themselves said, we fully respect the rights of actors and families and estates to be able to bequeath, likenesses and images. But their call and mission as a union is to protect replacing actors who are working doing those other things. You've had other voice actors who have done Darth Vader in Rebels and in animation and in these other places. And so that strikes against taking work away from other people, especially in the form of AI, which just came through a whole big thing in the last strike. So I hate that it has to happen this way because it makes it a really murky gray area. But at the end of the day, it should have been handled differently. And I think Epic should have handled it in a different way.
John, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question, but these are the questions that need to happen so that we can figure out what the guardrails are, right? And I think look, it's very clear that the estate said, yes, you can do this, but how much does the estate know about what's going on with AI and with actors and how it's impacting the industry? We don't know. That stuff is left out, right? We're just left with something in a vacuum. Well, they approved it. They should be allowed to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's fine, but the world doesn't exist in a vacuum. There are things that need to happen as a result of this. There are precautions that need to be taken. And if companies are going to abuse these precautions, and look what happened with, what was it recently, where Meta was accused of using features that hook children to its platform. These companies are not about doing things ethically and by the book and being really nice and holding your hand. No, they're about trying to make as much money as possible by hooking you into their stuff. James Earl Jones is the entry point for some people because they love Star Wars so much. But then if you start to use that and then start to play with the rules and make them fuzzier and fuzzier, then it becomes a situation where a lot of actors could get their rights violated. So although I respect the estate of James Earl Jones for coming forward and saying, we want this, we've signed this over, their cooler heads need to prevail because he's not in a vacuum. It affects all these other actors. And yeah, as you said, Pete, earlier, like Yuri Lowenthal is one of my favorite people on the planet. We co-hosted a show for a year talking to voiceover actors, and we were aware of how important it is and how abused sometimes they can be by these companies who come in and want to use them and use their voices and use their work and pay them as little as possible. So this just would open the door even more. So I'm glad there's a fight over this so we can figure out what the guardrails are going forward.
Yep.
No, I definitely agree with you there. I'm actually going to stick with you here because I feel like we've had like a similar question. As someone who's trained with like a broadsword for Game of Thrones, Rory McCann knows his way around a weapon, but he recently spoke about his excitement about training with the lightsaber. How do you feel about Rory being Balin Skull, and like as we're getting closer to him filling the shoes of Ray Stevenson?
I think this is a fantastic casting choice. And I'll tell you why, because you were never going to replace Ray Stevenson. You just weren't. No matter all the people they were suggesting, none of those really fit to take on the mantle of Balin Skull in where Ray left it at, right? So you bring in his friend, Rory McCann. And you, of course, people who watch Game of Thrones know him as the Hound and love him as the Hound. But he doesn't have the stage presence or just the magnitude of an aura that Ray Stevenson has. So you're going to play the character a little bit more underplayed throughout the entire new season. He is not going to be as massive of a thing. He's not going to have that same kind of connection that we saw him have with what's the character's name that he guided through season one?
Shin and Hati.
Shin Hati.
Right, Shin Hati. Yeah, he's not going to have the same kind of connection with Shin Hati. By the way, it's my 4th hour going live, so I'm a little sorry.
It's okay.
Shin Hati. So I don't think Rory's going to develop that, even though he had that with Arya, which was great. Yeah. But Shin Hati is in a completely different place now by the time we go into season 2. So I think he's going to be much more of a subtler energy throughout the season. So I think he's an excellent choice to come in and play that. He will be strong when he needs to be, but he doesn't need to be around like Ray Stevenson was. And I think they're going to write to that. So he'll honor it really well. He just won't be a Ray replacement, which I think is a smart move.
Agreed.
Fair enough. What do you think, Chris?
I'm excited to see what he does with this character. Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. But I'm excited to see what he does with this Balin Skull character. And I agree with John. He's not going to be as the gravitas is going to be there like it was with Ray Stevenson, but there is such like a subtle, quiet intensity to him that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
What about you, Pete?
The Hound was actually one of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones. I think I said it before that I tried to get my daughter to be Arya and me go out as the Hound for Halloween one year. She never saw Game of Thrones, of course, because she was 7 at the time and should not watch shows like Game of Thrones. There's certain shows she can.
So this was like a dad decision.
I was like, I showed her pictures. I was like, you see that guy? And look, it's a cute little girl with a sword that's on a murderous vengeance sort of thing. So I've always been a big fan of him. I love the character, and I was really curious how they were going to replace him and how they were going to do it, because obviously, I mean, just based on the ending of season 1, it was set up to figure out where Balin went next, and I think it's a great choice. And there were so many, as John was referencing, there were so many fan castings and so many, and every one of them made sense. But this one is one of those rare times where you hear the actor that they select and you go, yeah, okay, that's good. And you're happy with it immediately. So I was happy about it as well.
What about you, Nick?
All right. So for all of you who have missed all the way back in your life when you had to take the SATs, I'm going to give you a couple of analogies real quick.
Oh boy.
Real quick. Roy McCann is to Ray Stevenson as Alden Ehrenreich was to Harrison Ford. And here's my deal. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be an impersonation. He's not coming in here to try and be exactly the same guy. He's going to do it. I think John's exactly right. It's not going to be the same. It's going to have a different tone. It's going to have a different feel, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be good. We all came into Alden and Solo and went, what do you mean? Like, nobody can be Harrison Ford. We know nobody can be Harrison Ford. Ray Stevenson was a revelation as Balin Skull in that show. Probably my favorite character from that entire show. I knew Ray Stevenson a little bit, but this was somebody that I went, holy crap, he's really good. And I think the possibility for Rory McCann to come in and do a different version of Balin Skull, that when you look back on it, like, somebody's going to complain. Everybody complains. That's what people do. But at the end of the day, you're going to look at it and go, you know what? It totally works. So that's what I'm going with.
Nick, before I award points here, are you like saying that Solo is a good movie?
Solo is an absolutely good movie.
Solo's a banger.
Solo is a fantastic movie.
Oh wait, hold on. Do I have to quit this podcast?
You can take all my points away if you want to.
No. Like I mean, just Harrison Ford's my guy, and like
that's okay. Mine too. I grew up with Indiana Jones.
I can't right now. I'm learning this about you like live, and I hate that movie so much.
Oh no.
Take all my points away. I'll earn it. Yep. I think Solo's a great movie.
Shit. Okay. All right. Well, okay. I'm just gonna move on. We're moving on. All right. So
hey, this is the great thing about Star Wars. This is the great thing about
you guys right now. Like, I can't with Solo.
But this is the great thing about Star Wars. Everybody can like what they like and not like what they don't like, and we don't.
I know, but like Solo is a really bad movie. Like it's a really bad movie. All right,
that's it. Patreon
right
Solo watch along. It's happening.
Patreon Solo watch.
Oh, man. All right.
Don't make Solo 2 happen. What? No.
All right, Pete. So, Pete, Sam Witwer recently spoke on Maul, questioning what he built with Sidious. So, for his upcoming show, do you buy Maul being a sympathetic character?
Man, this is the biggest. Last time we talked about this, when we first heard about the Maul show, I actually said I don't know if we need it, and that was weird, especially because I have a Maul tattoo. That said, Sam Witwer sort of talking about how it's a show about bad guys and worse guys. And that's kind of what they tried to do with Acolyte and failed. But I have a lot of faith in Filoni, and I have a lot of faith in the Maul character, and I have a lot of faith in Witwer. What I want to see is, and I've said this before, I believe that Maul is the Joker of the Star Wars universe, in that he wants chaos. He lives for trying to disrupt whatever's happening. And if you do that right, I loved the first the Joker movie with what's his name, Phoenix. I love the first one. The second one is unwatchable, but the first one was really cool because it was a backstory that I didn't know. I don't think I needed it, and I don't think it's the backstory that I still live with in my head, but it was a cool story about a character that was worthy of understanding more about. And Witwer is a student of Star Wars, so I have a lot of confidence in where that show's going to go. So bring it on. I'm ready for it, man.
What about you, Chris?
Pete, I'm getting real tired of your Acolyte slander. Going to stop in my presence. But we saw a sympathetic side to a degree for Maul in Rebels when he was trying to get Ezra, and then when Freddie Prinze explains how he's like Sisyphus, he's always rolling that boulder up the hill and it keeps coming down, it keeps rolling back up again. That's just, that's his role in the Star Wars universe. So I'm happy to see more of this, and how he ends up on, was it Malachor?
Yep.
How he ends up on Malachor, how he gets booted from Crimson Dawn, or does he leave? There's so many questions. But I'm real excited to see what they do with this character. And and he's evil to a degree, but he's not like on that Vader and Sidious level. So right. He's in. I don't even know if I want to say anti-hero, but he's. I don't know where you put him. But I'm happy to see. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this character going forward.
John, you have any thoughts?
This is interesting, right? Because we just talked about. We started off on this thing talking about Andor at the beginning when you guys asked me to come on, and we talked about prestige TV, right? This is what prestige TV does: takes a character, makes you hate them or have them do terrible things, and then slowly but surely, methodically redeems them in a certain way, so that you're asking yourself questions. What would I do? Mm-hmm. Can I forgive them? What mistakes have I made in the past? that people have forgiven me for, given me grace for. And so it makes it a fascinating watch when you're watching it. Mm-hmm. Do I like this idea? Yes, I like this idea. Do I trust that they're going to do it well in this format? No, I don't. So that's my concern when I look at the situation. I love Maul is you're right. I think Chris said, sorry, I think Chris said that. Yeah, Maul has shown moments of vulnerability or humanity in certain moments. And certainly that episode with him and Kenobi, two sons. I mean, that's maybe my favorite episode of almost any animated series ever because of the care Kenobi shows Maul. And I don't think he would have shown that if he didn't have some respect or love for him. And so there are moments where he has these. The thing about Maul is clear in his principles. There is no fluctuating in his principles, right? So he may be evil to a certain extent in your mind, but he is clear about who he is and he's consistent. And I think that's what makes him an interesting character and a place to be able to turn him into, at times, the hero of a story as it goes up against more evil people, because he has shown that proclivity to be clear about his principles and morals in numerous pieces of media and Star Wars. So, yeah, I like the idea. I hope they get it right. I don't 100% trust that they will, but Sam's a great voiceover actor. He'll bring the emotion. Yeah.
And I think one of the things in line with that is some of the best stories, and I can't remember who said it on our Road to Rebellion show, but some of the best stories are when you really get to know a bad guy who believes they're right. And so this could really be a great story for sure. Yep.
Like if you look at the end of the Clone Wars series, he was trying to do the right thing.
Yes.
But in a and not a good way,
right?
You know, so yeah, like, you know, this character is this character is layered, and I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, I was gonna give the floor to Nick, but I feel like Chris was really passionate about this, and I'm gonna give him the win on this one. So, Chris, you want to take us home?
Nice. Well done, Chris.
What just happened? Did I win? What?
You did. You did. I literally just ignored Nick, and I was
Nick, you should say something, brother.
It's okay, because I was gonna spend my time not answering the question and simply talking about the fact that Pete was once again.
Go back to Chris.
That Pete was once again wrong because he said Maul wants chaos. Maul didn't want chaos. Maul wanted Kenobi. Single focus. He got played by Palpatine. He figured it out. And everything beyond that was revenge on Kenobi. And like Tommy says, Maul is evil when he feels the situation calls for evil, particularly when someone's between him and his goals, which are getting to Kenobi. So Pete's wrong. He didn't want chaos. He wanted Kenobi. Everything he did was driven by the fact that he got played. He wasn't going to let it happen again. And he sought that revenge. But Chris Ryans is our winner tonight. And Chris gets the floor for 60 seconds of a platform of his choosing.
Let's go, Chris.
Buy stuff from Broaxium Outpost. Help me make a living. Thank you. And use the promo code ATG10 for 10% off your first purchase. I got comic books. I've got action figures. I've got it all up. I don't know why I'm doing Lando right now, but you know what I'm saying. BroAxiumOutpost.com.
Wait. I want you to do a Broaxium commercial as Saw Gerrera. That's my.
Can we get that? Can we get that? That sounds fantastic.
What? What are you doing, boy? Come to Broaxium Outpost. That's where I've got all the toys. That's where I've got all the comic books. So I've got the lightsabers, everything you need. All your nerdy needs are met here. And it's great, and I love them. She's my sister or my brother. I don't know. But come there and get what you need at the Outpost. Was that
There it is.
All right, let's go.
I want to add to that.
What a pro.
You're not going to buy from me and Brookhaven. You come here not to buy from me. I want to add to that. Nice stuff.
I'll have to add that to the, I'll add it to the script.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, this has been incredibly fun.
I love Saw. He's my spirit animal.
We know the Borgullet. Yes. Yeah.
Come to Broaxium, you will know the truth.
My gosh.
Right. Damn, son.
Well, I'm going to wrap up this fun evening of Star Wars revelry. John, one more time, tell people where they can go, subscribe, and follow, and join your Outlaw Nation.
Yes, go to www.baraxiumoutpost.com. I will I'm going to get shirts at cost there. No, I'm just joking. Hey, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and on Blue Sky and Threads and all that stuff. But my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, that's where I do all the madness of my shows, Hot Mic, Jedi Way, Geek Buddies, and all of that. And I host a podcast called The Cine-Files, where we break down one great movie every week. We're in the middle of doing our first episode for Crimson Tide, which will be out sometime tomorrow. It was great revisiting that film after so long. It's so much fun doing that stuff. And we've done a number of the Star Wars films as well on there, and broken them down over 3 2-hour parts. So it's an exhaustive and intensive exploration. So, but thank you guys for having me on. This was so much fun, especially after Around the Horn has gone away. So it was nice to kind of relive it in a way here. So thank you very much.
Well, you are welcome to join us anytime you like. And yes, make sure you follow the Hot Mic. They're dropping stuff. And again, what I love about your show, John, and not just because you're here, but it's true. You're not just kissing the ass of DC or Marvel or whatever. You're asking the tough questions, and it's great because it goes beyond. And it's if you're into any of the genre stuff, John's talking about it, and it's a great conversation every time. So make sure you're checking out his stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So we will be back next week, as we always are, and next Thursday at 9:00. And hey, we're going to go over the Star Wars news, and we're going to have some fun stuff going on. Also, make sure to check out on the wherever you find the Around the Galaxy podcast. You will find our Road to Rebellion show. We have one episode left coming up next week. It will be our call-in show. We've gotten some calls from some of our friends who are watching tonight already, but make sure if you have a question, comment, you want to talk about a plot hole, you want to tell us about something you liked or didn't like about the show, we want to end the conversation with you. So make sure to leave us a message at 504-321-1501, or at any of our socials, send us a little note there, and we'll include you in the show next week. But Chris, Kelsey, John, Nick, thank you so much. Nick, may the force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.